Between the traffic sounds, merchants rolling up their gates, and lively Brooklyn sidewalk banter, you might hear marathon cheers. A busy coffee shop, or one of our street cleaning team at work. These are the sounds of FAB. Welcome to FAB Fulton, the podcast. I'm your host, Craig Bannister, Events Manager at Fulton Area Business Alliance. This episode features conversations with SBS Commissioner Greg Bishop, FAB Fulton Executive Director Philip Kellogg, and the I Am FAB segment with Safira Melina Hill, owner of Baby Jane. Fulton Area Business Alliance, or FAB, is one of 75 New York City business improvement districts known as BIDs. The New York City bid system is the largest in the country. We talked with the New York City Small Business Services Commissioner Greg Bishop, whose agency oversees bids, to find out how bids came into being.
Bids are, and they were created in the 80s, and I believe the first one was created in 1984. But the genesis of that was a special assessment district. That started during the financial crisis of the 70s, right? The city could not keep up with services. Okay. So business districts were struggling. You had dirty corridors. You had corridors that were not, they were not safe to shop. The city was, and for those who were in New York City or the history of New York City, the city almost went bankrupt. Mm-hmm. So what the commercial sector said was, hey, we want to actually help this, right? If you can help us create a special district, we will take over the responsibilities of, some of the services.
FAB Fulton, established in 2009, is one of 23 bids in Brooklyn. When we sat down with Philip Kellogg, FAB Executive Director, he defined the boundaries of this vibrant business district.
It's essentially along Fulton Street in Fort Greene and Clinton Hill. So you're down to Ashland in the western end near downtown Brooklyn, and through the low scale part of Fort Greene and Clinton Hill all the way to Classen Avenue in Bed-Stuy. And we also pick up parts of Lafayette Avenue Green and Putnam Avenues where they intersect in their commercial.
We asked Philip, what was the climate like in this area 10 years ago when FAB began?
First and foremost, it was just a tough time for us to be starting out in 2008, 2009, right after the economic collapse throughout the country and around the world. So people were really feeling it. Also, this section in Clinton Hill of Fulton Street had gone a street reconstruction project that was just devastating to the businesses and properties. It was a much needed improvement, but unfortunately the street was torn up for years. Buses rerouted and businesses were really affected. So coming into that environment where there was a lot of distrust and frustration with government, even though we're not government, was probably one of our number one challenge.
Hi, Safira. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Craig. It's a pleasure to be here.
How did you come up with the name Baby Jane for your business?
Well, we have another bar in Fort Greene. My husband is the owner of that bar along with our partner, and it's called Dick and Jane's. So at the time when we were shopping our second location around, it just seemed so fitting that we would use Baby Jane for such a small, quaint spot. But also, I had just had a baby, and the baby theme was recurring and sort of a thing in my everyday life, and it just seemed pretty fitting to use Baby Jane.
You have been listening to FAB Fulton, the podcast. Special thanks to our guest, Commissioner Greg Bishop of New York City Small Business Services, Philip Kellogg, Executive Director of FAB, and Safira Melina Hill, owner of Baby Jane. And special thanks to our producer, Angie Brown, and our Brick Media Share producing mentor, Keisha Dutes. This podcast was made possible through the Brick Media Share Grant Program. FAB Fulton is a nonprofit organization representing over 400 small businesses and property owners along the Fulton Street corridor in Brooklyn's neighborhoods of Fort Greene and Clinton Hill. FAB works to support local businesses and bring resources that benefit the entire community. For more information, visit us at fabfulton.org. Until next time, stay fab.